What is going on, bro? Welcome back to my channel, Stone Mandalorian. Today, we're taking a look at Moff Gideon from the Black Series. It's a bit of an older figure. It came out in 2020, so it is pretty much 5 years old now at this point in time. Got some nice mural art on this box. It is a little bit older. This is number 8 in the Mandalorian subline. We now have over 40 figures in this subline, which is absolutely crazy. I'm blanking on the name of the guy who plays Moff Gideon, but he also plays in Breaking Bad. He plays in a lot of stuff. He's very well known, but really decent likeness to the character here, so excited. This is one that I have not had in my collection for quite some time, and he is the main antagonist for Mandalorian for the most part, so you gotta have him. He's a crucial part to the Mandalorian display. As you can see, it's kind of all behind here, most of my Mando display, or I should say my Mando verse display. But let's not waste any more time. Let's crack this thing open and take a closer look at Moff Gideon here. And starting off as always here with the accessories, you can see we got the Darksaber here. Not the best one in the line. This was the first one, I believe, that we got in the Black Series before we got Pre-Vizsla, and then obviously the Glavis Ringworld Mando. You can see it's just missing that white luminescent look on the side that the newer ones have. There's also an older handle as well. And next up, we also have Moff Gideon's blaster. I actually am not familiar with what this is off the top of my head. So if I'll obviously, I always do my research and I'll post it down below. That's pretty nice. And then getting on to Gideon here. He looks awesome, man. Very good likeness. The gloss on his armor is freaking awesome. We actually just did get basically the Mandalorian Imperial armor version of Moff Gideon here, but you got some really nice, look at that detail on here. Going on to the gloves, same design, the lines. Going on to the belt area. He's got kind of like, not Death Trooper armor, but like, what am I, like Death Star gunner armor right here. It looks kind of reminiscent of. Nice, super clean paint on this red, and the line is sculpted. That's very nice. Again, just another nice sculpture. Look at the gloves, man. Very nice detail. This is where the cape plugs into the back, which I forgot to show you. I'll show you in a minute. Nice texture and sculpt on the hair here. Not bad at all. That red is super clean. This pinstripe of red, very, very nice. Also got some red here on the shoulders. Super cleanly applied. Very, very nice, man. Again, like a little pleat, another little nice touch of red. Super, super clean. That's nice. All right, now let's get on to the articulation. So just starting off here, ooh, he's stiff. Ooh, he's stiff. Whoa, oh, and I just messed up. Gracious. Okay. You might want to be careful for these, because I literally just is it not going to focus now? I wonder if it'll do it. Okay, now it's riding over the armor, but I literally just mashed it all to hell. That looked kind of bad for a second. So, armor range is very, very limited. Just to see how it's bunching up here. Look at that. That sucks. If you can get it to ride over that armor, even then, it still just doesn't want to do what you want it to. It's about as much as up with the arm you're going to get. Not that great. However, there is a nice deep cut here at the elbow, so you can get way below 90, so that's pretty sweet. That's pretty nice. Also looks like we have a vertical hinge here on the right hand, and a horizontal hinge here on the left hand. Arm spin 360 degrees around, of course. The head, a little bit of side-to-side tilt. It won't really stay, though. It might just be stiff, though. I might have to mess around with it. 360 degree spin at the head. You can't really look down all that much. The head's a little stiff on this one. Not a whole lot. You can tell, though, it's on a double ball neck peg. Because there's a ball joint down here at the base of the neck and the base of the skull. You can kind of see the neck moving along with the head. So, got some ab crunch here. Get some nice, decent side-to-side. A little bit of back and forth. Not a whole lot. He can look further back than he can crunch forward. Get a full, decent, not a full split. We can get a decent split out of Moff Gideon here. Getting him down. We got this single hinge knee joint which you can get to, that's about all you're going to get. Not quite 90, or right about 90 actually. Feet go down pretty far all the way. They come up a tad amount as well. There's also rockers, of course. Something I also forgot to point out earlier was this holster for the sculpt, which let's see how that fits in. Fits in pretty nicely. We'll see how that goes. Doesn't No, that's in there. That's not going anywhere. So that's pretty nice. Oh, one thing I did forget to show y'all was the cape. So you can see this little notch on the back of it, or on the inside of it. That's actually what holds the cape onto him, but not a whole lot going on here. Red on the inside, black on the other side. It's got some nice folds to it. Nothing crazy. I'm not a big fan of this. For hard plastic, this is not the greatest. For a cape like this, I might would have preferred soft goods, to be honest. So that plugs in right back there, and it kind of just like rides along the back of them, just like so. So not terrible. You know, the execution is a little lacking in my opinion, but it definitely pulls off the effect. There's no doubt about that. And I almost looked over thigh swivel and swivel at the knee. And this is how my Moff is going to be displayed, getting flanked by 2 Dark Troopers. Also, fantastic figures, both of these Dark Troopers. I actually have 5 of them. I have 3 hanging from my ceiling on some fishing line. Looks really badass. Just a couple quick side-by-side comparisons here. Here is Moff Gideon next to the Glavis Ringworld Mando here on the left. And on the right is the Galaxy packaging version of Grogu with his pram. Now standing on the right is the Incendiary Trooper, basically just a red paint job Stormtrooper. And on the left is the Imperial Light Cruiser Luke Skywalker. Now standing on the left is the Armorer, and on the right is Bo-Katan. So like I said at the beginning of the review, this is an older figure now. You got to think 2020, it's 2025, so about 5 years. There's some things on here that are dated, but that being said, it's not a bad figure. It's not terrible by any means, just a little bit dated. But he is the main nemesis and protagonist for Mando Season 1, 2, and 3. He's a must-have, man. And to be honest, it's kind of crazy that it took this long for me to get him in my collection, to be real with you. Got this for Christmas in 2024 last year, so definitely happy to crack him open and get him on the shelf. He's going to look awesome. I love the way that the red cape on the inside kind of like, it really pops against the black outfit, and like certain parts of his armor and costume where it's got this glossiness, kind of resembles a Death Trooper or a Stormtrooper, you know. Really badass looking figure. Really decent likeness. Articulation is decent as well. Not too bad. But overall, man, this is a pretty cool figure. Glad to pick him up. If you can find him on sale, he's pretty cheap now. Probably get him on Big Bad or Amazon for like less than $15. So definitely recommend picking him up if you want representation as far as Imperials go. And also, like I said, protagonist for Mando. He was a very worthy and interesting protagonist. So I think it's worth having him on the shelf, no doubt. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Like I said, I know this is an older review, but there's newer collectors joining this hobby every day. So I feel like it's kind of nice to cover older figures like this, and not only to cover them for newer people, but also just to get them in hand and kind of like look back and see how far the line has come since this time. And even from 5 years ago, man, I feel like if they did this figure today, it would be even better. Of course, that's just how time goes. The engineering behind paint and the technology of the way the action figure articulates and moves, etc., sculpting process. There's a lot that goes into it, man. But other than that, super pleased with this figure. Super clean paint, decent articulation, awesome likeness to the actor that plays Gideon. So I'm pretty pleased, man. Going to be ready. I'm definitely ready to throw him on the Mando shelf. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, like and subscribe. If you're interested, I do a lot of Black Series content like this. I also cover other lines like DC McFarlane, NECA, Mattel, Hammond Collection, stuff like that. And if you're in a position to support me, it's not mandatory at all. Just by liking, watching, subscribing is plenty enough, and I'm extremely thankful. But if you are in a position to support, please consider joining my channel membership. You can join Clan Stoned, and I have 3 different tiers that you can join, and you get emojis, cool badges, you'll get early access to my videos. Also, like, just check it out. See how you're feeling. If you're in, like I said, if you're in a position to support, I'd greatly appreciate it, but it's not mandatory or necessary at all. But that being said, check out that my channel membership. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you're all having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. This has been the Stone Mando. May the Force be with you.